Can we just all agree that reading slumps really, really suck? Now, if you look at the actual amount of books that I read this month, you wouldn't think it was a reading slump because I actually got through quite a bit. But it was the energy that I had for reading this month that I don't know. I'm having a lot of trouble this year just in general. Having a hard time getting captivated by a story. Let's just get into it. So the first book that I read this month was Game Changer by Reid. So this is about, if you've not read Game Changer, it's about Scott and Kip. Scott is an NHL player. He is closeted, and Kip is a guy who works at a coffee shop or juice shop or something like that. They just kind of start a secret relationship. That's what this one's about. This is definitely my favorite out of the two that I've read thus far. I did really like this one to an extent. It wasn't as story forward as I would like it to be, as what my personal preference is. Doesn't mean it's a bad book or poorly written or anything like that. I just don't think that this is really my personal thing. But I can understand why people do like it. Absolutely. I'm not sure I'm going to continue with the Game Changer series, but I did give it the old college try. So I was really hoping that this was what was going to get me out of my reading slump, and it just didn't. It did not get me out of my reading slump. So it was good though. I didn't mind it. Then I read Lunar Love, which is like the polar opposite of Game Changer. This had literally no spice in it, which inherently isn't a bad thing. It's probably my favorite book that I read this month because the story was cute, the characters were really cute, but if you're wanting spice, this is definitely not a book for you. Like if you're really, really into spice, like Game Changer level spice, definitely don't pick up this book. But I really liked it. I thought it was really cute. So Lunar Love by Lauren Kuhn Jessen is a rivals to lovers story about two essentially matchmakers. She is taking over a matchmaking company that is more old school matchmaking. Then there is a new app, and the developer of that app is her rival, which is like a dating app kind of situation, but focused on lunar compatibility. So your lunar sign, like I'm a fire tiger. Like I said, very, very sweet. No spice, but very, very sweet. Then I read Heated Rivalry because I want to watch the TV show. So I got through Game Changer and then read Heated Rivalry. And where was the rivalry? Can I just be honest? Like I get that they were rivals, they were on rival teams, but they didn't really build up the rivalry at all. When I want rivals to lovers, I want them to actually be rivals and then be lovers. So again, if you've never read Heated Rivalry, it's really huge right now, but it's about Shane and Ilya, who are both NHL players in the same world as Game Changers. It's all part of the same kind of interconnected series, but essentially Shane and Ilya are on big rival teams. They actually just kind of start hooking up secretly because again, they're both closeted, much like Game Changer, both closeted hockey players. They just try to keep everything quiet between like everyone. Ilya is from Russia, where there is a little bit more at stake for him. So like it's really hard for him to come out at all. Like I said, I just don't think the Game Changer series is for me. I am so glad so many people love it. I will still watch the TV show and maybe update you guys on how I feel about it. Then I read probably the most visceral book I've ever read in my entire life, and that is Half His Age by Jennette McCurdy. This book made me very uncomfortable, but it was supposed to. Like, it's fine. That was the point. It's supposed to be visceral. It's supposed to be graphic. It was a lot. So Half His Age is about a high school senior named Waldo who develops a crush on her teacher and ends up starting an illicit affair with him. It is reminiscent, and she's pulling from true stories of a time where she was in a relationship at a very young age with a much older person. I would say this one or Lunar Love are my favorite books that I read this month. Like I said, very visceral, made me very uncomfortable. I thought it was very well done. Like this is such, Jennette McCurdy is such a good author. And as you guys know, I am rereading Animorphs. I read book 27, which is The Exposed. So this one centers the Chi, which is a race of aliens that are pacifistic and they're in trouble. And so the Animorphs have to basically go and save their friend Eric and his people. So that's what this one is about. I didn't really remember much about this book, but I do remember like enjoying this book when I was a kid, but I didn't remember the storyline. It's very weird. My memory of Animorphs is very, very like weird sometimes, especially as we get to these middle books where I was like less enthralled in them, but still like I wasn't obsessing about them as much as I was at the beginning of the series. So it's very interesting, but then I read this one and it was great. So that is everything that I read for the month of March. Let me know in the comments what you read in March. Have you read any of these and what are your feelings on them? I want to celebrate the ones that you love, the books that you love, and even vent about the books that you hate in the comments. So let me know, and I will see you all next week. Bye.